Welcome back to the Jagged Edge. Javal, how have you been? I cannot speak. This is crazy.
Outside of recovering from minor minor colds and fever over the weekend, felt a lot better. Got the schedule out, so now that we know, we're able to see, okay, who do we all play, and I'm excited, but at the same time, it's like the schedule comes out, and it's always just all right, we'll see how things go, but we've got the full schedule out. We know who we're going to play, when we're going to play, where we're going to play. So we're able to really take a look and see just, okay, we can do our irresponsible schedule predictions and see we're going to go 17-0. But at the end of the day, we're kind of just, even with the schedule, we can say, yeah, this team's going to definitely win in May. And then August comes and it's totally different. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm ready to roll, and then just kind of we'll see how things go.
I don't know how that looks. That's probably really goofy looking. What does it look like on your end?
You never look goofy to me, so don't worry.
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to make sure if I can get the schedule up. First time I kind of looking around like this. Oh, well, I guess it's behind me. I'm trying not to cover it up too much.
We'll talk about it in depth anyway. So even if you forget, we'll remind you every 5 minutes anyways. So
Yeah, perfect, perfect. All right. I mean, I guess we'll just get started with it. I mean, first game of the season is going to be two number one pick quarterbacks going off against each other. A team that we only saw 2 seasons ago, but a new challenge and a new direction for both teams, maybe. We have a home opener for the first time in seems like a few years. I don't know when was the last time we had a home opener.
I
Um,
feel the
I think it
last
was the
oh,
COVID
I'm
year, wasn't it?
trying to remember because it was Miami
That's the
last year,
COVID year, 2020.
2022. No, yeah, it was Miami last year. 2023
The
was
Colts,
2023. You guys had the Colts on the road. 2022 was
Commanders, the football
Commanders.
team.
2021.
The
Yeah, I guess
road against the Texans. Yeah, it was the COVID year against the Colts, the last time we had a home opener.
hopefully its season turns out better than it did last season. So
Shout out to the Bold Take. They got me a free ticket to that game, which was the only game we won during that season. So shout out to them. If they ever come back, you know, good friends of the pod.
but yeah, I mean, just being able to start, I think this would be a good litmus test for both. Week one, Carolina coming to Jacksonville. We saw Bryce play a lot better to end the year, so we'll see both. How I think it's just going to be a lot of irresponsible takes, kind of no matter what. Like if the
It's week
Jack,
one. It's the weirdest week of the
yeah, week one is
season.
the time for irresponsible takes. So I think I'll probably be going to that game. I actually have a friend who's a Panthers fan, but he lives in Tampa, so he said he's going to try to meet us, meet me and Ant to go at the game. So,
I
but
have
we
season
should be
tickets. I'll be there most games as long as I'm not sick or dying.
so. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the Panthers because they try to revamp their defense. They got a defensive line. They have another receiver they drafted too in Ted. So we'll see Travis and Ted because even I remember Travis was saying that the toughest receiver that he faced in college was actually Ted McMillan. So it's kind of funny that they're facing each other week one in the NFL. Obviously, I think Travis will see a lot more offensive snaps. So I don't think they're going to line. It's going to be more Tyson Campbell than anything else. They're not going to line up with Tet on him. They're not gonna, yeah, I'm gonna put Tet on Travis like right away. So I think it definitely will be fascinating though, just kind of to see. And on top of that, even just Xavier Legette, Brian Thomas from the receiver class last year. I actually am still hopeful Legette can bounce back because I know he had some wrist injuries that had some drops. So we'll just both two young teams. Also, even the Tampa Bay offense coordinator connection and both Dave Canales and Liam Cohen went from head coaches after calling plays for Tampa Bay. So that's kind of a cool little connection. A lot of neat little storylines this game. And then even though I think the Jags, I don't want to say they should win because we don't really know how they're gonna look. And I think Carolina does look does feel a lot more improved. So I don't want to give actually anything irresponsible, obviously. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to keep the responsible takes, and the irresponsible takes to a minimum. I don't want to say anything too crazy yet, but definitely looking forward just to obviously Travis debut at home too. So I'm glad it wasn't a 4 o'clock game because I feel waiting for a 4 o'clock game is terrible. So I'm glad we're because how there was a rumor it's supposed to be the Cardinals week 1, but thank God that's not that. So we don't have to wait until 4 o'clock to watch the Jags come out. And yeah, we'll see how the Panthers look. So I'm definitely looking forward to okay, we're gonna see both how teams look. Because I'm very interested in Carolina this year. Actually, I think they could be sleeper, a sleeper team in terms of maybe a good offense. So it'll be a good litmus test. I think this could be a shootout. That's kind of my guess because I think both defenses are pretty terrible last year. So we'll see how the defense are looking too and the offense. But any other thoughts on this matchup, my friend? You think Jaguars are going to win by 30?
Jesus, I don't think it's gonna be by 30. I think we
No,
should be able to win this
I think
game,
it'll be
but
a fun little shootout.
but
Who
that's the
wins?
thing though. Which Bryce Young are we getting? Are we gonna get the Bryce Young we got towards the end of last season, or we get the Bryce Young that missed open passes in his rookie year when he came here to Jacksonville? The Bryce Young that lost to CJ Beathard and didn't score any points. Only because their field goal kicker was hurt during warm-ups. So hopefully nothing like that happens again for Carolina. But that was one of the most fever dream football games I ever had the pleasure of attending in person. So, you don't expect anything from like 2 or 3 years ago to happen, but that was like one of the weirder games that I've been to in person, and that was the last time I saw Bryce Young, where he did miss like open receivers. Of course, every quarterback is guilty of that, Trevor included. I'm not gonna excuse our guy too, but as someone that already saw Bryce Young in person, he's gonna probably be better like he ended the last season, but I am very confident this will be a W because this is a defense that Liam Cohen shredded throughout last season when he was in Tampa, as he played the coach against him twice last season. And I expect the same, hopefully. But like we said, we haven't seen what the team looks like. I think we're both just gonna jot this down if we're gonna do predictions, just in
Do
case.
you want to go full predictions or just? I
I
don't
mean,
want
we
to do.
could keep it
I
in our
feel I'm
mind.
scared to do predictions after last year. I want to do predictions for fun, but then I know this could bite us in the ass at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just both want to know though, right? We'll do a tentative prediction because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Let's just do it through the paper, even though, as Trevor Lawrence said before, the game ain't played on paper. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak today.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go around. And then next week they're facing the Bengals on the road.
Do the
So
Bengals always start off slow, or is that just
Bengals
a
kind
just
of always do, but at the same time, you can never count out Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Their defense. We'll see how the changes look. They lost their defense coordinator, Lou Rumo, who was probably
hold
one of the more
on.
respected
I'll be
DCs.
back.
So we'll see how everything kind of goes. And then just in terms of, okay, now we've got pissed off Joe Burrow. But the Bengals usually start slow. I mean, they lost to the Patriots last year, and everyone thought Patriots were going to be bad. So it's one of those games where no matter what happens, I think it'll be an entertaining game just because it's kind of going to be a shootout regardless. I don't see a world in which this is a low scoring game unless there's some crazy miracle or something. Kind of just because there's so many high scoring players. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow. Hopefully, we'll see Trevor kind of, catch up. And then now that we've hopefully got our own version of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, we'll start to see, okay, if the fires come out. But I think this is going to be a pretty fun game. And it's kind of just, I, I want to say 1-1. I don't want to get off too cocky just because
I will be with
there's
you in
so
that
many
sentiment.
unknowns with this team that I don't know how they're going to play. Like I have an idea of how good I think they could be, but I'm also not going to try to be delusional. So I'm kind of
I'm gonna
just
just go off the history that Trevor Lawrence has never beaten Joe Burrow, and nor do I expect it to happen because the game on Thursday night from his rookie year,
I'm still mad about
like
that.
a real NFL team wins
The
that
game
game.
that Urban Meyer
That
just what
yeah.
they want to plot back on the team playing with.
Yeah, that game. I mean, that was just the antithesis of Trevor Lawrence's career so far in the NFL. So I'm going to assume it, unless it happens, I'm just gonna assume an L. I expect, Burrow to dice us up like he did that Thursday night years ago. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so 1-1. So now week three.
No, it's the revenge game. Aziz Al-Sha'ir, you terrorist bum. Not because of your religion, because of your actions on the football field. I will never forget what you did that day last
Oh, he's
season.
gonna get booed. He's gonna get booed so crazy.
Every
I'm glad.
time you're on the field, you're gonna be yelled at probably more than any other player on the field this coming
I,
season.
I want Liam Cohen to just have an entire game plan on attack if possible. And by attacking him, I mean on the football field, not off. But I guess we'll really see just how this game is because it's one of those things where I feel we always play the Texans close, and then something just stupid happens and we lose.
We lost a one possession game with Mac Jones at quarterback
That's
last
exactly.
season. Yeah, it was like
I feel that they should be, but having the Texans at home in years, and eventually like it has to come to a stop. But
we
I
say the
don't.
same about the Colts and the Jaguars though. So like, will it stop? Last
I'll
time we beat
say
the
you're
Texans
right.
at home, we won the AAC South though. Just keep that in mind.
I'm gonna say 1-2. Just that's the. I feel the beginning schedule is just it's not impossible, but
I'm gonna go the opposite with you for once. I
you're
think
gonna
we
go.
actually take. I think it's the Trevor
I mean,
Lawrence legacy game.
you're always the optimist, and I'm the pessimist. So I'm not really that.
I'll go Trevor Lawrence legacy game for this one.
It
I
is
just feel like it's if any game is to kind of say, "Hey, I'm here, I'm back, no more bullshit." That's the game where Trevor Lawrence has to perform more than any other game. But it's such an early thing to say about early in the season, because the season's long. So who knows? Then we have the Niners on the road. Jaguars typically never do well West Coast, except for they're playing the Chargers for some reason. So
that I was gonna say they weren't bad under Doug Peterson on the West Coast, which is so stupid, but whatever. I guess we'll see how things go with the Niners because I mean the Niners are kind of this weird. I think a lot of people expect them to kind of have a bit of a fall off. I don't know if I'm gonna say that they will or
I
certain.
so
I'm kind of just I'm still point stands. I still think they have a lot of good players. And Shanahan is one of the better offensive minds. So we'll see how everything looks.
I feel
I
like
don't
that's
want
just a daunting task for any team traveling, especially if you're Jacksonville.
I know what I think because I let them lose versus the Texans, I'm gonna say they're gonna beat the Niners. I don't I'm kind of 50-50 on this one, but like I think they could beat the Niners. I don't think it'd be impossible. I think it's just a matter of it definitely they're gonna have to be on their A game to beat a good team on the road.
Yeah, that's a litmus test for sure. But I think we both kind of agree it's gonna be an L until they prove us otherwise.
I don't know. I feel so September, we have the Jags probably going through about 2 or 2,
Two
maybe
and three.
maybe 3-1. Hopefully
Oh, three and
hopefully they
one.
can
That's
just
crazy. I would
hopefully
love
they can
that.
just start out on a solid note. They don't have to worry too much about are they because I feel if they just start off on a bad start, it's just going to kind of. I'm not saying they can't bounce back.
It's
I just
harder to bounce back from a
they just definitely want
slow-ish
to get
start.
off to a fast start. So we'll see how things go for the month of September. And then
Dear God, they
one
gave us one.
they
Dear
gave us the
God,
prime time game that nobody was wanted. Monday Night Football. Kansas City Chiefs are coming to Jacksonville. I
I will
that's
take the day after off because I will be belligerent one way or another.
I'm just I feel that's gonna be one of those games where if the Jags are good, even if they don't win that game, if they just compete and they're in it, maybe Travis has a big player too on a first prime time game or BTJ has a
Taylor
big.
Swift, dead body found outside of one of her homes. The sacrifices have started for Kansas City. You
Oh,
already
it's
know the devil work is already happening.
gonna keep continuing. So
Yep. More blood fountains in the state of Missouri. We like we can't make this up. We can't
So
make this up. The sacrifice is we are going to lose by one possession because Taylor Swift asks of it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, there's just the Chiefs, right?
I'm putting this as an L because of the Chiefs voodoo man. If it's going to be Travis Hunter gets a pick and it gets called back because somebody pushed Patrick Mahomes slightly too hard. That's exactly what's about to happen. The Jags are even the first team to get a touchdown taken off the board because of a roughing the passer call on Patrick Mahomes. They're going to say, nope, Mahomes doesn't want this call, so your touchdown's not happening.
I mean, will you be there for Monday night? I'll definitely like be there.
Maybe. I want to. It is obviously tickets are going to be way more expensive now because
Yeah, that's the tickets for this one is pretty it's pretty steep.
I don't want to hear Chiefs fans doing that stupid racist ass chop chant again. There's going to be so many conflicted FSU fans.
Yeah, I hate well, I'm not a Florida State guy. I'm a Gator guy. So I was like I'm a Gator guy.
Yeah, and then the Gators fans
I'm
are
a
going to be
Miami
extra pissed
Marlins.
off.
I'm a Miami Marlins guy, and we're Jaguars guys. So three different
The
sports.
Gators fans
Yeah,
are going to be super pissed off.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then,
The
yeah, I
Gator
forgot the
Jags
Braves do
fans.
that too.
Yeah, and we're Marlins fans too. So I hate that shit.
I guess
It,
we'll see how that. I mean, we're counting it as an L, but
I hope they prove us. This is the please just if you're good, thank God. But also, I'm not gonna count that Chiefs game. We're just gonna be there for the vibes under the lights. As always.
but so we'll see. And then next week, they face Seattle, week 6. Seattle's at home.
Sam
So
Darnold tossed 3 picks last time he was in the building, and he never seems to play well in Jacksonville. So as long as we show up and are
I feel
healthy, I
this
think,
game is a win, but at the same time, Seattle is such a weird ass team. I have no clue what to think of Seattle. They could either be kind of good or terrible, and nothing would surprise me.
yeah.
I
Shout
just,
out Jackson Smith and Jigba though. He's gonna be a baller no matter what. But other than that,
yeah, I think, yeah, JSN will be. It's just, I mean, they have Cooper Cup if he's healthy.
healthy, yeah.
And then speaking of Cooper Cup, his former team will play London Rams. Obviously, the Rams storylines are going to be crazy. But I just know NFL Network is going to be talking about all the storylines between Cohen and McVay and Gladstone and Les Snead, and then just there're going to be so much parallels. I think this is even if the Rams aren't. I think this will be good this year, but no matter what, this is going to be a litmus test game. I think we're just going to come off a little bit, not even pissed off, but I think Colin's going to be just extra motivated to win, especially his first game in London, trying to beat his sensei. So we'll see. I think the thing is, if this game wasn't in London, I think it would be a Rams win. But because it is in London and the Jags play better there, I think they can be. I think they can win this game. I really do. I
A
don't
lot
know
more
why.
that's such a tough travel for any West Coast team going international too.
Yeah. I
That's a
mean,
lot of travel.
they definitely tend to play a lot better in London. So I feel even if they don't go, like, thankfully, only have one game in London, and Pastors have had two. So
Mhm.
we'll see. And then, so yeah, bye week is next week. So what do you think their record is at the bye
So
in 7 games?
from our talk, our floor before the bye week is 2 wins, but the ceiling at the bye week is 4 wins. Am I not wrong about that?
Everyone's ceiling could be 5, but
Five
I
is
think
crazy. I think if everything goes right, then five is
if
not out of
everything
the
goes
question.
right,
Yeah, then
and then
five
if
is definitely
everything
not out of the
goes
question.
wrong, then
Yeah, I think that's what I say. Like between 2 to 4 wins before the bye week is is pretty standard. I feel like for the Jaguars at this time of a schedule. The
yeah, and
fact that
then
we finally have a bye week after our London game too is also kind of a needed
yeah,
change from
I feel
prior
our bye
schedules.
weeks have usually both been pretty consistent. I feel the bye's always in that week 8 to 10 range, which I think is the best time to, if you can only have one bye, which we'll see if they ever add a week, another game and then have another bye. But if for them to have one bye, it's a good timing. It's not too early. So it's
Four
kind
four
of,
weeks without being at home is kind of crazy thinking about it. The London game, a bye week, and then 2 road games off the jump. That's kind of a lot, but I get it
I mean, they do have a good chunk of home games to start.
early on. Yeah.
So it kind of balances out. But yeah, so we'll see how they are at the bye week. kind of refresh. And then they go a place that they were at last year and going back to Vegas week 9 off the bye week. So, we'll see how Vegas looks because they should be a lot more, at least at the very least, a lot more competitive. I mean, Pete Carroll, he's not gonna, a Pete Carroll team's always gonna try to compete. They're not just gonna lay down and die. It's not gonna be another tank bowl. They've got Geno now. They got to start try to stop Genty. Still have Bowers. So I'm really intrigued in this game just because I feel the Jags and the Raiders are two teams where they could both be a lot better on paper. No one really knows how it will look yet, but I think the Raiders to me they have some nice pieces. Defense, the secondary still could use some help. So I think if there is a place that the Jazz can win, it it could be through the secondary, but
I'll say it's a W. I think it's a good bye week test. Like I said, if we lost to them with Mac Jones as quarterback by one possession, if we played them last year, I'm gonna just say it's a W. I feel like that's a good standard to have.
yeah,
I feel like the
I don't
guys
think
that
it's
did play.
yeah. I wouldn't be completely shocked if the Raiders are also a lot more competitive and it's a close game, and then if we lost a close game. I think no matter what, it should definitely be as both teams are healthy and better, it should also still be a one possession game either way. So, because I think they're going to win the week after, I'm gonna say this is a loss, but just
Oh.
off averages. But speaking of next week, when they face the Texans on the road,
They got both of their games by week 10 against Houston, who are, the clear AFC South favorites this season,
but
which,
I think that the Jags play better in Houston than they do in Jacksonville. It's so stupid.
it is.
But
You're not wrong about that. I'll
so
give
which
you
is why
that.
I think they can win this game. Because I mean, I think Houston will still be solid. It really just depends on
How is
how
their will
offensive.
their offensive line hold up and will their wide receivers stay healthy? It's
Oh,
legitimately the only
we forgot
question.
to mention week 3 is the Cam Robinson revenge game. I
I'm
mean, he did have
sleeping.
the revenge game when he played for Minnesota at home,
He
but
was bullied by Josh Hines Allen the entire game. I expect him to be bullied twice more throughout those two
oh
games.
yeah. So I think they split versus the Texans just kind of
Yeah,
because of how the law of averages work. I mean, if we swept them, then that would really be a statement that, yeah, this division is not going to be a cakewalk. But I feel, yeah, they lose the home game and beat the Texans on the road because that's just how the Jags work. That's just my guess. Obviously, we'll see if it happens. But at this point, I mean, no one really knows how any team's going to look. We're all just spitballing numbers here.
yeah. I think 50-50 against the Texans is a fair assessment. And then how about the Chargers at home? I know it's been a
Week
Twitter
11.
thing. Justin Herbert has still never beaten the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though he was only playing against us two times. He's got a lot more opportunities, but does Justin Herbert get his first victory against the Jaguars in the place where he had his most embarrassing loss in his professional career?
No, I don't know if that was. I feel the Texans game actually might have been worse for him because he threw 4 picks, but it would be hilarious if Eric Murray got another
I
pick
mean,
six on
blowing a 27-point lead is still kind of
that. Yeah,
inexcusable.
I feel that's just more of a Staley coaching thing, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, with the Chargers, Liam Cohen had faced them last year, and they diced up the Chargers defense. I think they put up 40 points. So I know they definitely added some more beef in the trenches. Different, like this thing is, you can say they coach did this last year versus this team versus this coach. Obviously, they got new players. They added beef in the trenches to have more of a passing attack. So we'll see. I feel it if the Jags lose to the Bengals, then they'll beat the Chargers and vice versa. If Trevor gets a win versus Joe Burrow, then Herbert gets a win versus Trevor Lawrence. That's just how I feel things. The NFL is just dumb.
That it is.
So then week 12, they travel to the Cardinals, who I thought the Cardinals are kind of in a not fully similar, but I think their defense has a lot more pieces now to definitely compete. They added a lot more in the front seven, so that the Cardinals could be a really good defense. Offense, I think they weren't bad. They were just kind of a weird offense, and no one ever fully knows how to rank Kyler. So no, everyone's kind of just the offense is still a little bit iffy. I mean, they didn't really fully utilize Marvin Harrison Jr. the best way. They kind of just lined him up outside. They never really moved him around. Maybe the offense will look a lot different this year. I don't know. Because it wasn't even a terrible offense. It was just it was predicated on let's get the ball to Trey McBride. We're going to run the ball. And then I don't even know how to feel about this game. Like, I really have no clue. I'll put it as a loss just because I don't think the Jags are going to be
It's a
elite.
West Coast game. I'll just assume we're gonna lose every West Coast game because we just never do well except Doug Peterson is there for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep if they lose this game. It's just a matter of how competitive are they? Because I feel the Cardinals and the Jags, at least on paper, shouldn't be that far apart in terms of roster and with Cohen at least being able to give it a fighting shot on offense. But
Shout out Calais Campbell, I guess.
yeah, I forgot he's back there. Yeah, the Cardinals just have a weird roster. Like they're not bad, they just have a weird roster. But yeah. So now it goes to week 11. Oh, yeah, week 13. Sorry about
13.
that. Week 13, November 30th, the first time. I'm honestly surprised they didn't face the Titans earlier in the season. Just like to me, I thought they should have opened the season versus the Titans. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, 1 versus 2 pick. Hey, I didn't make the schedule,
I was
but I want
surprised that's not like a Thursday night game or something.
yeah, I was
I
gonna,
was I was like
that also does
certain
feel like a Thursday night football game waiting to happen, which we actually don't have a Thursday night football game. So I'm not complaining because I think
those
even
middle of the week games are so tough. So I'm glad we don't have one
yeah,
this year.
I feel the schedule and rest wise worked out really well for the Jags. They don't have the bye week is in a good spot, middle of the week. They have one London game, and the bye week is after the London game, so they'll have plenty of time to prepare. They don't have to travel too much on the road. And then even in terms of they don't have a Thursday night game, they only have one Monday night game. The schedule worked out pretty well for them rest wise, so we'll see. But yeah, facing the Titans at Nashville. We'll see how Cam Ward looks. So since it's later in the year, he should be a little more comfortable. So it won't be that rookie kind of jitters. But even when Trout was a rookie, he diced them up in week 3. So I don't want to say that it's going to be a huge disadvantage to face them later in the year. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna chalk this as a win just because we swept them last year, and I just don't have faith in Brian Callahan. But I think this should be a competitive. As long as Cam Ward looks good, then it
I was
should
gonna
definitely.
say, how do we feel about Cam Ward?
I I think. I mean, I think Cam Ward as a whole is he just a number 1 overall pick? No, but he still has talent. He can make some highlight throws. It's just a matter of can you make the highlights first while still not turning the ball over.
That's my biggest concern with him too. I just seen him make the dumbest throws, like especially toward that back end of the season and when he was playing for Miami. And that's what cost them a playoff spot at the
I
end.
mean,
He
their
just
defense also was terrible.
Yeah,
So
but
I'm
still, he had to be Superman every single play,
will
and
you have to be
yeah,
Superman for the Titans again? I mean,
yeah, he probably
maybe
will have to. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. He probably has to try to be
because I
Superman
feel the
again.
Titans defense is it wasn't even terrible last year. It was better than their offense. So we shall see how everything looks with the Titans, but we have this as a win. So and then week 14 is the Colts coming to Jacksonville, December.
I mean, we don't have to say anything, right? Anthony Robert, okay, fine. Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, he's the quarterback at week
Why
14.
I just keep feeling that one of the like for the Jacks to be good, they need to lose to the Colts at home in a weird way, like consistently good. And I don't know why I feel this way, but I'm just so used to them being bad and always being the Colts that I feel maybe if they lose to the Colts once, they'll be. I don't. I mean, obviously, if they beat the Colts, I'm not going to be complaining. We'll see.
Until it happens, this has to be a W. Until it happens.
Until it happens, it's so hard to predict them beating the Colts. And just even the Colts as a whole, I don't know how the hell to view them this year, just because no one knows how the hell Anderson will look. I mean, they say he's been training with Josh Allen's trainer, funny enough, training in Jacksonville. So take that for what you will. But if Anderson, if he's, I feel he has to be at least somewhat better It's just how much better. And the Colts defense, they added Lou Anarumo from the Bengals. They have more pieces. So I feel the Colts defense should be better.
We don't
It's
have
just
to play against a Gus Bradley scheme anymore,
yeah,
unfortunately.
that's kind of the one thing is that
Darn it. We don't get to play Gus Bradley anymore. We don't have
we
to
don't have to
dice
play
him
pick
up.
matchups. So I don't know. I feel with the Colts, they could split, they could sweep the Colts. I don't know. I don't know how to feel, but we'll chalk it as a win just because we haven't seen the Colts win in Jacksonville in a very long time. So, and then back-to-back home games now with the Jets coming week 15. We'll see how the Jets also are another team.
Who's their backup quarterback?
I honestly have no clue who the let
If it's
me
not Justin Fields, who's it gonna be?
uh let
Oh
me do a
God.
quick Google search because I honestly don't know who the Jets backup is.
Let's see who can win first. Let me see if I can find it too. Their backup quarterback is Tyrod Taylor. Okay, that's actually not as bad as I thought.
So they can kind of do some similar. But I mean, yeah, with the Jets, I have no. It's the same thing where I want the Jets to be good for their fans, and I think Aaron Glenn is going to be a good motivator. I just don't know if it's going to be solid 2.0, where the defense is good and the offense is just inconsistent as all hell. I mean, I think Fields at least can give them a floor. So who knows for fully, but I feel like it could be a win, but also I feel they're just bound to have some dumb games in there. And that's really the thing is that it's so hard because I feel the Jags are going to be like solid, but they're just going to win a game they shouldn't and lose a game they shouldn't, and it's so hard to predict that. So for this, I'll have them losing to the Jets or something.
Oh
Just
my goodness. You have no confidence in this
I know,
team.
not even. I think the Jets are
That's
going to be solid though.
crazy.
That's the thing. I think the Jets defense is going to be really like under Aaron Glenn. They're just going to be
We lost let's the rule of thumb that I said, Javal. If we lost to a team with Mac Jones with only one possession, try to
yeah,
flip that game into a
I know, but
W.
it's the different. I can't just use the last year because everything's gonna be like just gonna look so much different from coaching, both sides of the ball, new quarterback. I mean, who maybe they just really struggle to stop Fields on the ground game and he's able to break out some big runs. Who knows, man? I mean, maybe they can't. Maybe Fields can't pass the ball that day and he throws two interceptions. Who the hell knows? I don't. So.
All
I
right, then we have our final two road games. We have the Broncos and the Colts, two horse
Yeah.
related teams back to
Travis
back.
Travis Hunter going back to Colorado. So I'm honestly surprised that also wasn't a primetime game. Maybe
It's
they'll
going
get
to be cold.
yeah, so I the way that Denver's defense looks on paper, it's gonna be a tough matchup. And this game I think could be an L just because Denver is gonna be a team where offense is going to be hard to predict who's going to get the ball when. We'll see how Bo Nix looks in year two, but assuming he doesn't regress off the cliff and is still at least just, pretty good to solid with a really good, like Denver's defense to me might be the best defense in the league. They have probably three of, at least of Jahdae Barron transfers, probably three of the best defensive backs. Yeah, have good secondary. Front seven's really elite. So Denver to me is going to, especially Denver playing on the road altitude. The million players used to it is Travis Hunter. So it'll definitely be an interesting game. We'll see because I feel there's never gonna like because the coaching staff is so new. I don't want to say there's never a game. It's not a game I don't think they won't have a chance in. It's just a matter of how well can they get the scheme going and the players adapt to it. But I'll chalk this as an L just because I think Denver is going to be a pretty good team, at least on defense, and playing them at home is not going to be easy.
Is Bo Nix the quarterback that second year that has the highest probability to have a sophomore slump out of the quarterbacks in last year's draft?
Honestly, I feel in terms of the slump due to expectations, it's probably Jaden Daniels. But in terms of just pure talent film, I guess it could. I don't think is I never want to root for anybody to have a sophomore slump, but I know just in the NFL things are always so random that
Can we
even
figure you out and can we actually exploit it? It always seems to happen to somebody.
I mean Sean Payton is still a really good offensive mind.
But
So
also look at the coaches in that division now. It's the toughest division in football, the AFC West, at least on paper with
I feel it's
guys.
either that or the AFC North. Okay, yeah, probably AFC North. NFC North is still good.
Not the
Actually, no.
Browns.
Okay, okay.
The Browns are going to
NFC
be
North.
ads.
NFC
Oh,
North,
and NFC North.
and
Okay.
then yeah, the NFC East, but we'll see. And then week 17, they face the Colts out the road, which once again, I don't like I'm not scared of the Colts, but they do have I think it's just because they have a new defensive coordinator, and it's not just Gus Bradley's scheme that even Doug Peterson could exploit. There's a chance that this is a tough game. It's just the and they were just a variable of no one knows if he's gonna make like the improvements he's going to make, and if he's gonna take that leap to just at least become a stable passer on top of being an elite running threat. So I don't because the secondary for the Colts is a lot better. They added two good pieces in Charvarius Ward and Cam Bynum. So, but at the same time, we also added Travis Hunter. So, it's one of those things where I could see this game going either way. But you know what? I'll chalk it up as a win. But everything's still just very much up in the air.
And Titans at home, last game of the season. Could this be for a
Remember the
playoff
last time we
spot?
faced the Titans at home in the last game of the year?
I do remember that. That was one of the best days of my life. That's crazy. I
So
mean, for like 57 minutes it wasn't, but the last 3 minutes, it's all that mattered. We
I just still remember I was so pissed that they were losing, and then Sean Jenkins and Josh Allen saved my life.
they did. They did save our life that night. I was so once we got down, was it 10-0? I was like, oh my God, they're not gonna do this, are they? To Josh Dobbs, please don't do this. And then they are who we thought they were. And then yeah,
So,
so I don't know. I mean, instead of a record breakdown, how about we do this? This is a lot more fun because it looks like our floor is around 6 wins, I think, and our ceiling is either 10 or 11, which is, fair enough. How about we do something a little bit more fun? Since Tony Baselli said they want to maximize the throwbacks usage, why don't we guess which home games you think they're going to wear the throwbacks for?
if I had, I feel they might. I honestly probably the versus the Chiefs. If there's
I think that's the first one too. Actually, I think you're right. You might as well put the
I was
first
gonna
one.
say if you're gonna do four, my guesses are I know Tony hates losing to the Texans at home, so he might try to fire them up by having the throwbacks week three.
I
Maybe
think I think you have them wait for Monday night, right? You just kind
I
of
feel
just
like
try
he
to set the
could.
tone.
I don't know. I feel Tony
We
is gonna be
started
so.
week 5 last year, and that was our first win. So I get your also idea of like maybe be like, hey, right?
Because if I had to pick one, if okay, four games, my guess is week three versus the Texans, week five versus the Chiefs,
I think we
week
wait because we have
seven
two more
versus
in
the
the.
Rams. I think the throwbacks in London would be so sexy.
No, we can't do that for the London fans. You got to keep them in Jacksonville, I feel like. That's a bad message.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's a bad message. You don't use
you're
one of them in
right. Like
London. You don't you don't you
you're
don't use
right.
them in London. You do
It's
not.
just, but imagine
Absolutely
how
not.
nice it would look though for Londoners to see that. Like you're not wrong about the Jack.
Hassan does not deserve to be happy, so he will not see those throwbacks ever in person unless he's here in Jacksonville.
I mean you're not wrong, but I think I feel for national fans though it would be okay. So okay, week
Colts, like say week 3, week 5, week 14,
versus the Colts
and
and then
week
week
18,
18.
right?
So
And the last game
all
of
the
the
divisional games and then the
the
Chiefs
Chiefs.
Monday Night Football.
Damn, I think that's legitimately what we have to do, right? I think that's
I
legit
guess if
right
there's
there.
any games to wear the throwbacks, it definitely would be versus the division, and I think ending the division with the throwbacks versus the Titans would be great.
Especially if it's for a playoff spot where we need to get the crowd fired up. I mean, that's the best way to wear it, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know. I feel they kind of have to wear a Monday Night Football. Like there's no other. All the eyes are going to be on them,
You
and then
might
if
as yeah. I
if they
think
wear it and they look good on Monday Night Football, imagine the highlights from that game.
we are, if people don't know, if you're still watching, we are like uniform kind of like not savants, but like uniform appreciators. We kind of put too much love
Matters.
into the uniforms, but it's the identity of the team. It's what you wear. It's what helped us become fans of this football franchise. Hold on, I think I got a jersey on my bed for some reason. Do you think we ever go back to look like this? Because I feel like this is our. Oh my goodness, it's doesn't want to show it. Hold on, let me stop this now. Oh, yeah, there we go. Do you think we go back to look like this one day? You think so? I mean, this is honestly like one of my favorite looks,
I
even as
feel
the
like
white jersey.
if Tony's in charge, then they definitely will try to go Mac, not Mac Jones, Matt Jones. Sorry.
I know. I mean, he did show up in a Matt Jones jersey at one point last season too, which is, funny because, you can put the same on his jersey. But there's no better look than the old Jaguar uniforms.
Oh,
It is why
they're
we
definitely
love so much.
going to when they get the chance. It's just a matter of when.
I
Now that
think new
with
stadium.
Tony being in EVP, I feel that's going to be the main thing he's working on. It's just getting the jerseys. But honestly, though, if he could just do that, and that would be the best thing. That would be the only thing he needs to do is just get the uniforms. So it's going to be it's definitely going to be pretty interesting just to see when they wear the throwbacks. But yeah, my guess is if they wear them only 4 times versus the Chiefs, and the rest are divisional home games, so that way they can really get the crowd fired up. Because whenever they have the throwbacks is when the most the fan appreciation is there. Just because who doesn't love the throwbacks?
Who doesn't? I mean,
But
we love him. We talk
so
about him relentlessly, honestly.
that's our little schedule breakdown. Yeah, I want to say I don't want to say floor and ceiling because injuries can always just derail, or maybe if they get healthy. My guess for how much their record is, I feel they just go around like 8-9, 9-8, but nobody really knows anything. So we talk about a lot about the offense and the defense. No one knows how it's gonna look. Even Travis Hunter, we don't know how it's gonna look. But at the very least, they should just be more competitive. Well, they were competitive last year, which is so it's just a matter of if they just get some more close game regression to the mean where they don't lose every single close game, then they should be better. How much better is to be determined, but they might be able to push for a playoff spot if things break their way, if they're able to just get off to a head start. So,
It just really depends on the start because it's just a tough stretch. But the fact you got teams like, I'm not going to say they're bad teams, but on paper, they're definitely teams on the lower half of power rankings, if you would say. If
yeah,
you can get to a decent start, the back half of the schedule is very, very forgiving compared to, what it is to start off.
yeah, it's better to get hot later than to. My guess is that I feel we're going to have a 2022 type season where they just start off a little bit bumpy, and then hopefully post bye week things start to click a little bit more. Offense gets its footing, and then we're able to just see the consistency. So that's my guess. I don't know for certain because nobody really knows. So no clue. But at the same time, I feel they should at least be solid and competitive. But John, my friend, anything else you want to go over before we get out of here?
Travis Hunter loves wearing his Jaguar stuff and everything, doesn't he? It's crazy. I don't know why. He wears Jaguar stuff more than we do, and that's saying something.
He really wanted to be here, man. It's crazy.
I know. Look
Out
at
of
us.
all the teams, out of all the teams, he just really wanted to be here. And then the only thing I might go to the preseason week 3 game, which is at Miami.
No, it's right by your home there in
It
Broward.
shouldn't
Yeah.
be too, yeah, it's preseason game.
It's
So
not going to be expensive. You could probably get sideline seats for like $100. Like, right, you need to just see if you can get something signed. I will encourage you to probably see if you can get cheap
I'll
sideline
try to
tickets.
go. It depends on how my schedule is looking that weekend. But yeah, we'll see how the season looks. I'm just looking forward to training camp highlights, being able to know a little bit more of how the teams, especially just on offense, how the scheme's going to look. We've done so much thinking about, oh, this is how it's going to look and so on and so forth, but nobody really knows anything. Even in training camp, you have an idea, but no one really knows until, you line up on the grass and versus another team. So I'm just
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried. I mean, I'm ready for training camp. I mean, I just want to see what it is. Hopefully, I don't get a talk to one of the porters saying, "Yeah, I don't know how our offensive line is going to be." When I was told that with one of our reporter buddies, so a lot from this like last season, I was like, "Oh, this might be a long season." Like, hopefully a lot better reviews from what what we see. The fact that was the first thing I heard when I talked to a reporter, like one on one, towards camp last year. I wonder how it's gonna be this year.
yeah, I mean we'll see how things shake out. But yeah, my friend, I'm just excited for off-season updates. It's going to be a long wait for training camp, but I think for good reason. We're just really excited to see how things look for the next few years, and hopefully they can just start to build a consistent winner in a team that can not only have stability in the front office, but on the field with the coaching staff, and in Cohen we trust for now. So
Yeah, I mean, do you have anything to leave off on? I mean, there's our annual video for Travis Hunter circle jerking, so I don't know what else is there to add.
I hope the NFL does not ban the tush push. That's such a pussy move. I'm sorry.
Also,
And
do not realign the divisions unless, or don't realign the playoff
playoff,
structure unless you realign the divisions. I think that's yeah. What's your take on the playoff seeding?
it, if you're a better team, you should be able to win a playoff game on the road. I'm sorry. I understand. Yeah, if you win more games, you want to host a playoff game. But at the same time, I think winning a division should matter. Like I get both sides of the argument of, well, we won this game, and obviously we're biased because the Jags were able to host the playoff game versus the team that had a higher win versus the Chargers. And that game probably is different at home if they're able to win. But at the same time, though, like I like the fact that divisions matter in the NFL because the NBA took that away where they stop having the
Division.
postseason automatically
Oh
qualify.
my God, can you imagine if the Magic were like the three seed this year? The NBA fans would not be happy if the
Like
Magic were a three seed or a
I
four
don't know.
seed.
I feel it just makes the potential for more upsets, which is what I love about the NFL. So I hope they don't change anything. Keep the tush push. If you can't stop it, it's a skill. Like the
The
Jets have the
Jaguars
tush push
stopped
twice
it
and they
last season.
lost, bro. It's not impossible to stop it and still lose. So I feel that game should just be the like if I'm Philly, I would show them this game and say we got stopped twice in one game and we still won. So if you want to say it is a big safety issue, then like if it was safety was the biggest reason, then I would understand. But I know they don't want to shut it down because of safety, but just because other teams are pissed because Philly's better at it than they are. That to me is just I'm petty and I don't want them to win.
I
So
think it is too. We stopped it like yeah, multiple times. Like what are we gonna do? I don't know. Well, the Jags stopped it. How come these other NFL teams aren't stopping it?
so I don't know. We'll see how the rules shake up, but I hope they don't change anything because I think the current structure is fine. Like we haven't seen the team win the division at 5 or 12 or something, and then host a
It
playoff
for
game.
some reason the last 3 years, an AFC South divisional whoever won the AFC South has gone to the divisional round of the playoffs. Like what are we doing here? It's not like we were just one and dones by showing up in the playoffs.
So
Like
I'm a little bit upset that they're even thinking about doing it, but
I'd be more enticed to realign the divisions to reduce player travel. Put the divisions actually where,
it makes
everything
sense.
is closer because that reduces travel time. More away fans can go to games, which is more money for your league. And then like if you
Yeah,
get that historical Cowboys Giants matchup, if you get that Jaguars Texans matchup, I don't know what other weird rivalries would you take away if you realign the NFC East to actually include teams in that Northeast area instead of
and not travel.
Cowboys, which is in the goddamn Southern United States, and the Giants, which are like, miles apart. That still
Yeah,
does not make sense to me.
I guess if yeah, I'm just thinking even if the Jags were in like whether it be AF or NFC South, it would just be probably what Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville, and Atlanta in a division, which, that would be for home game purposes. That would be great. We could just, but we'll
You can
we'll see
soccer
how
it up and just put the away like a dedicated away section somewhere for us to bully every time we score a touchdown against them
we'll see
or
how it
whatever.
go out. But yeah, I
Or
guess just
college footballs, they have sections in college football too, I guess, is for the more American audience. I just feel like that would make more sense than doing the playoffs. Because if you do that, I'd rather you also realign the divisions to, reduce travel time and make things better for the way. Can you imagine a division where it's the Giants, Jets, Patriots, and the
Bills.
Bills? Can you imagine the chaos that just brings?
Honestly, even because Philly's not that far from Jersey. Yeah, either way, but
Yeah.
it's we'll see how things shake out with this vote. I still think it is weird that teams are
The
based.
AFC South is the worst division in football because of the travel time between our rivals. Like that's my honest
I don't
opinion,
get how Indianapolis, which is literally in the Midwest,
is in
and
the AFC South. That makes no
literally
fucking
closer
sense.
to Cleveland, and it's closer to Ohio than it is. It's closer to the AFC North than it is. I don't get it, but it's
That's
one
always been my bother.
NFL owners. So
I would legit ask that to an owner one day, like, hey, why don't we realign the divisions to make more sense to reduce travel time? Wouldn't that just make more sense and make players happier?
Zima rivalry games.
I know. It'd be better for you could travel to Tampa. We could like do every year where we change the division opponent we travel to. One year we can go to Atlanta. One year we can go to Miami. One year we can go to Tampa. You go to the Miami game every single year since you're in that area anyways.
And all to
Like,
be expensive as hell, but
yeah. I'm
uh,
just saying, and especially in the in-state Florida rivalries and how it gets heated down here for other sports, like especially college football, a Jacksonville Tampa rivalry every year would get heated, and that would be better for football, I feel like. I don't know.
Luckily, my
I'm
friend.
just
I don't make the rules, so
that's just my rant for the day is I don't know why divisions are the way they are.
I'm not Roger Goodell, so I can't change anything. All we can do is predict and think what the
We do
judges.
not need a primetime game between the Cowboys and Giants every year. Can we like stop that at least? That's
What?
that's that's part of my reasoning. Or like a Packers Bears. Like, do we need that every single year? Like,
Okay,
do we?
I mean, I feel the NFC North, at least there, you don't have to change that division too much because they're at
Yeah,
least all next
close
location.
together. Yeah. But it's just like the AFC South should not be the way it is. That's just me personally. Maybe that's why I'm bothered with it. Why is our division rivals all in the Midwest? Why is it all in Central Time? We're the South. We're not. We're the East.
EST.
Yeah, EST is the best time zone. Don't tell me anything different. EST best time zone. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, my friend, but we'll see how things shake out. But
I think that's enough rambling for today, though. We need to end on a positive note.
we got
Javal, I
Travis
also want to
over.
say congratulations to you, my friend. I know Father's Day is approaching. I don't know if we're gonna record before Father's Day, but you're about to be a future father. And so I want to say congrats to you, my friend, and I hope everything is well between you and Bree right now.
Just know that the due date is on the game I wanted to travel to, so that I'm just a little bit salty about that. Just a little bit.
Hey, that's your fault. You have nobody to blame
It's
but
fine.
yourself.
It's fine. It's fine. No.
What game was that supposed to be?
It was supposed to be the Jets game
Oh,
because
well,
one of my friends is a
yeah.
huge fan of the Jets and also was a Colorado fan. So he wanted to go with me to see Travis Hunter as well as the Jets. And now I can't go, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
That's
I'm not
just
upset.
your own actions,
I'm
Jamal.
not
You
upset
can't.
at all. I'm not
Uh,
upset. I'm not mad at schedule makers can put that game week one. No, they had to put that game in December.
just like the Broncos game, a lot of our buddies want to travel to. It's the week before Christmas, so that I love
I'm
that.
not upset. No, no, stop schedule maker. You don't have a vendetta for me. It's okay. John, no matter what, literally, no, knowing how my life is set up, even if it was set up for the first week, then it would have been the first week. So I was just screwed regardless. That's how my life is. But
You
what's
got more important matters to attend to now, so that's great. That's a very important that's a very important part of your life. So Let's hope it goes well. Let's hope the Jaguars make us happy for once. Like that's all we I mean, they made us
That's what
happy a lot
Jags
during the
for
off
me, though.
season. Let's just hope it continues throughout
All
the
the positive
season.
vibes.
Yeah. I mean, we got what we wanted. Let's see if it actually benefits for the first time. It's crazy. All right. I think we'll just leave it at that, Javal. If you're still here listening to us ramble, thank you.
Listening and take care. Also, remember that the Jags have Travis Hunter and no other team does.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, Javal. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
Take care, my friend.
You too, man.